Hey there, everyone. Mike Mibach with KTVU Fox 2 in the San Francisco Bay Area, talking coronavirus and money on this Monday once again with Winnie Sun, Managing Director of the Sun Group Wealth Partners. Winnie, thanks for being back. And kind of big news right off the bat. I guess you could talk about the negotiations going on when it comes to another federal relief package. What can you tell us about what Republicans are throwing out there right now?
Absolutely, Mike. I know you've been seeing a lot of this news and we've been both keeping track. And unfortunately, we wish there was more news, but we do know the good news is they are deep in negotiations this Monday. In fact, one of the news everybody's talking about is the July 31st deadline of what that looks like for unemployment insurance, what that's going to look like, that $600 extra relief. And right now we've heard that the number is looking at $200 a week, which, certainly is only a third of what we had previously, but it's certainly 100% better than what they were talking earlier this month, about $100 per week.
I mean, 25 million Americans, I think, take advantage of that $600 boost that they've been getting. I think the final checks were just cut. I mean, I guess 200 is something, right? I mean, it's not zero and it's not 100 that have been talked about here. But I don't see that being enough, and that I don't know if Democrats are going to fight back for this. And then next thing you know, we're like a week or two into deliberations when people aren't getting anything at all.
Exactly. And Mike, you're right. We don't think it's enough. And certainly there's a lot of talk of what are you going to do? They said earlier that they settled on a $600 amount for the CARES Act because of simplicity, because what their goal is to be able to cover 70% of Americans who are unemployed. They want to cover 70% of their previous income. However, because the technology is so antiquated at so many states in terms of unemployment data, that they don't feel comfortable being able to do that. So they're saying, we'll give you $200 a week for now for 2 months, and then hopefully we'll get to a place where we can get the technology up and running to be able to get you to that 70%. So yeah, this is certainly not enough. And certainly I think we're going to see a lot of Americans suffer significantly if this actually becomes reality.
What do you think, Winnie? I mean, even if both sides agree on a package, do you think this is the final relief package from the federal government during this pandemic?
Well, we're hoping it's not. And certainly, it's really hard to predict because obviously we are still in the summer and they're saying fall and winter could be dramatically worse in terms of the pandemic. So to say that this is this is the last stimulus round of funding is hard to predict, but I would say probably it's not. Although Mitch McConnell has come out and said this is absolutely going to be the last round. They don't want to spend any more money. They just want to get, just give us enough for now, and then that's it. So I think given the situation, we don't know. This is a new pandemic. We don't know how hard it's going to last, how long it's going to be here with us. I would say, if I were guessing, I think this is not the final package. I think that will be one package and not two other packages in the future.
And for a lot of Americans out there, that's exactly what they want to hear, because just this past week, and 1.8 million Americans filed for unemployment. People continue to lose their jobs, although there was a time there we saw people going back to work, especially in the restaurant industry. For those who are losing their jobs for the first time now, what do they do next? Where should they be looking here?
Well, okay, Mike, so here's the thing I want everyone to do. Whether you've done this already or not, I want you to go and check on this. So if you find yourself unemployed and you're worried, first thing first, go to the IRS website, go to the Get My Payment tab. Make sure the IRS has your information, your banking information, because we definitely want to make sure that when the stimulus funds become available, and they're talking about still giving $1,200 per American, if this ends up being a reality, you just want to make sure that the money gets to you swiftly and very safely. The second thing you want to do is, right now, we've talked about it already, but you really have to get serious. I mean, at this point, this is the point where you got to decrease all your spending, like cut out anything extra. Just basically save money. Any extra you have, save it in an emergency fund, but just be spending money on groceries, on shelter, your medication, the bare necessities, right? Everything else should be cut off and put to the side.
I mean, the way you phrase it like that, I mean, that's just, it's scary. I mean, it's the bare essentials. You're talking about food and putting food on the table and then saving what you can, because we were interviewing someone on our newscast today and said that this could be around for all of 2021. I mean, I hope not, but, and I've asked you this question before, but few weeks ago, if not a month ago. But for those unemployed, where do you recommend? Are you seeing any sectors maybe that are once again, tend to be hiring a little bit more so than other sectors?
Yes. So, Mike, we've talked about this, and I think the areas that we're still seeing a lot of hiring occurring is areas that, do well when we're sheltering in place. So these are like a lot of the gig workers are actually doing well. So when they're Instacart delivery and whatnot, although those jobs are still hard to come by, you need to do what you need to do. We see more companies that are saying, I heard just this morning that Papa John's was looking to hire another 10,000 employees for deliveries and whatnot because their business is picking up. So, if you don't want to do this forever, you don't have to, but find ways just to bring in a little bit of income isn't a bad thing. And I talked about this before, but I want to reference this again. This is really a great way for you to take a look at what you have around you. More people are online today than ever because everybody's at home. So look about things that you don't really need, like around the house, and just let them go, sell them on eBay, sell on Craigslist, whatever you need to do to raise a little bit of money, and then take an opportunity to go online and look at some of these like online course programs. Go to Fiverr, Freelancer, and find ways you can just bring along. We're not talking about forever. We're talking about just bringing some extra money right now.
I'm looking at my notes here, and it says President Trump talking about setting a pay tax holiday. I hadn't heard about that. What exactly is this here?
So President Trump has said this package, this coronavirus stimulus package, will only be signed by him if there includes a payroll tax holiday. And so he had mentioned this a few times, but I do notice like the verbiage recently seemed to have softened a little bit. But basically what he wants to do is he wants to make sure that employers and employees that are still working, that they don't have to pay as much in payroll taxes. So they're basically, he wants to alleviate that completely, which will translate to, if you're an employer, you will get more money in your paycheck because, or in your checkbook, because less is being withheld for payroll taxes. And if you're an employee, same thing, because payroll tax is usually divided between the employer and the employee. Like a typical, we're not talking a 1099 or independent contractor, we're talking a real employee, full-time employee. So that means both parties would actually get more money. The downfall to that is that not everybody is working. So this is really just an advantage for those who are still working and those companies that are actively working. The other thing that is a negative to this is a good portion of the payroll tax that is collected each and every year goes to pay for Social Security benefits. So we already know that Social Security benefits are already looking a little dire. And if you remember, Social Security benefits only covers about a third of a retiree's income needs. So if we're cutting more of that right now, taking from our future, what's that going to look like? And it's a very narrow focus because it's really just benefiting those who are employed. And I think that we would agree that the people that are in most dire need are the ones who are unemployed.
Hey, Winnie, for you there at Sun Group Wealth Partners, what would you say right now is probably the biggest question you get from clients?
The biggest question we're getting from clients is, am I going to be okay? Like, should I be making changes right now? What do you think is going to come ahead of us? And should I move more to cash? Should I reposition my portfolio? Should I be investing more or pulling back? I think it's sort of like, if we only knew, we could give them more guidance. We're really right now looking at every portfolio, rebalancing, revisiting risk, making sure that the portfolio looks sound. One thing I would also emphasize too is if you're considering and you're looking at your portfolio and maybe you're employed and you have money in your 401k, don't forget that the 401k and pension have a lot of creditor protections. So if you're really worried and you're thinking, what if I have to declare bankruptcy or something like that? Remember, monies that are socked away in a 401k and pension are creditor proof. So you might want to continue to add in that and leave your monies there if you're really, really concerned.
Okay, perfect. Winnie Sun, Managing Director of Sun Group Wealth Partners. Appreciate your time. As always, our viewers can watch this interview and other interviews tied to coronavirus at coronavirusnow.com. Have a great week, Winnie.
You too. Thank you, Mike.
Sure.